Let me ask you guys something. Did you guys watch Transformers 1? If you did, was it the same one that I watched? Because it can't be. Let me tell you this. Sentinel Prime was not evil. I gotta tell you this. You guys got to feel me on this. You can't act like you don't notice what actually happened. What Sentinel Prime did was he sacrificed the Primes for a world where the Quintessons weren't killing off all the bots. They were already losing the war. As he explained to Alpha Trion before he killed them, you guys were losing the war and sitting around giving speeches to each other. And so I tricked you. I wasn't even a Prime. Let me tell you something. The Primes were the protectors and overseers of Cybertron. Sentinel was not a Prime. He was the principal aide to them. So for them to had got bamboozled, hoodwinked by someone who wasn't even a Prime was already a sign of ridiculous weakness and lackiness. Like, how do you lack that tough to where all the Primes, they had to had been loopy. So Sentinel Prime saved Cybertron. With Sentinel Prime saved Cybertron with the deal that he made with the Quintessons. He told them, look, stop killing us. I'll get you Energon. So after he killed Zeta Prime and took up the Matrix of Leadership, and when Primus took the Matrix of Leadership after he took the Matrix of Leadership, Energon stopped flowing. And so he had to make up for that Energon that once flowed, that's not flowing no more, because he had to give it to the Quintessons so that they would stop killing everyone. And as long as the Primes were alive, they weren't everyone. They weren't gonna win. They were gonna just keep dying. So that action in itself saved Cybertron. So the Energon's not flowing anymore, and so he creates this. When he creates the new world, this world protected under him and his high guard, he creates these bots that come online with no cogs, and their job is to mine Energon for the planet, for him, and for unknowingly the Quintessons, but they don't know that. But in their ignorance, they are happy. They have everything. They have, Energon. There's a part in the movie when Orion fell on this big table of Energon. It fell off the table. No one was, hastily picking it up or anything. It was just laying around. It's there. It's not like it was scarce on the planet. They had Energon. They had entertainment. They had things to do, friends, places to go. It was the world. They weren't scared, traumatized, confused, angry. It was a world. I have a question. Don't you think, do you really think that Sentinel Prime had to be so humble and show so much humility towards them? Do you think he had to do that? No, he didn't. He didn't have to be so nice to them. He didn't have to give them so many things. He didn't have to, tell them beautiful lies. Like, he didn't have to do that, but he did that. And if anything, he protected them from being wiped out by the Quintessons, and from them knowing traumatic information that they had no business knowing. I gotta say, like, the more that I watch the movie, the more that I kind of see, I kind of see Orion as more of the villain of the movie. And I know that's a crazy take, but I gotta tell you this. I gotta say this, that when he brought that information back to Cybertron from Alpha Trion, who egged him on to do it, who actually instructed him to do it. So Alpha Trion, who was supposed to protect Cybertron from the Quintessons, instructed Orion Pax to go back to Cybertron and tell everyone to rise up against the person who is protecting them from the Quintessons. When D-16 told Orion that he wanted to unalive Sentinel Prime, Alpha Trion said nothing. He didn't advise against it or anything, which is what a Prime is supposed to do. And as a Prime is a leader, he is their leader. He's instructed nothing against D-16 doing this, which would result in opening up Cybertron to war and ultimately destroying the peaceful utopia that Sentinel Prime made for them. And now, due to Alpha Trion, D-16, and Orion Pax, hey, fuck all this peaceful utopia shit. Let's get back to the war. Let's stop all this good living and let's stop all this being happy and shit. Let's get back to the trauma. Let's get back to traumatizing people. Alpha Trion knew Sentinel was right. He knew what he did was genius. He knew what he did was sacrifice. He knew he made the right choice for Cybertron. When Zeta Prime asked him why he's doing this, he told him for all the power of Cybertron. He did this for Cybertron. He saved Cybertron. They were sitting around giving speeches to each other about honesty and loyalty and honor. Loyalty and honor, that's all they was just talking about, sitting around while the Quintessons beating everybody's ass. And so Sentinel Prime, who was not a Prime at the time, but a principal aide to them, who could be, hey, like one of us, just like, hey, yo, he was just like one of the regular people that was hired by the Primes to help them. So him seeing this firsthand, seeing this injustice firsthand, he did something and he saved the people of Cybertron. And when Alpha Trion came back online, he knew what Sentinel Prime did was right. He knew that they were incapable. And all they did was sit around and try to have a speech contest with each other. That's all they did. Not everyone does things the right way or the correct way, but things still have to be done, and there are avenues that can be taken. There was a time in the movie when D-16 said that Orion once tried to transform without a cog. And so what that implies is that Orion Pax was hungry for power. He dreamt of power. He had, in a way, a lust for power. To try to transform without a cog implies a lust and a desire and a drive to find, get, obtain, and use power. And what was that not the main reason Sentinel gave Zeta Prime before he killed him? For all the power of Cybertron. When they showed us Cybertron, there was no war. Bots were living and laughing and living good, lavishly. Really good. Everyone was having a good life. Everyone had a duty, a job, somewhere to go, somewhere to sleep. Energon was, it wasn't flowing, but they had Energon. And they exposed Sentinel Prime. They traumatized everybody in the city, and they opened Cybertron back up too. And with war comes danger, the danger that was not there before they had this information. When Sentinel seen the screens playing to Iacon City, his interaction with the Quintessons, and his quote-unquote betrayal of Cybertron, the look on his face didn't say anger. It didn't say vengeance, or it didn't bring any type of the look on his face displayed fear. He was shocked and disappointed, and he felt betrayed. So I'm not saying that he didn't deserve to feel that way, but in him feeling that way, you could tell that he just wanted the best for Cybertron. He created this place where people could live in peace, where the bots could live in peace and mind in peace and have things to do, and the things that occupy their time, entertainment, hierarchy, all types of things to shoot for. It's a beautiful city, not in danger, not at war. The primes were seemingly numb to war, maybe obsessed with war, maybe used to war, and maybe wanted war, because hey, if you think about it, each of them had all these super cool abilities, and they were less susceptible to danger than other bots. So they had more of a will to need something to use those abilities and powers for. And so that's why they were, or in a way, reluctant to stop the war. So they weren't really focused on stopping the war. They were just focused on who could give the best speeches. And so Sentinel Prime, he was focused on stopping the war and saving his family and friends and people that live on Cybertron. And he was successful at that, but in doing that, he had to betray the Primes, which Primus deemed as not honorable. So he couldn't use the Matrix, he couldn't have the Matrix of leadership to give the Energon to the Quintessons. So he needed the miners to mine the Energon in order to pay the Quintessons to not fucking bomb them and not fucking kill them. Orion Pax and D-16, they brought war and destruction and trauma and fear and confusion to the planet and to the city of to the planet of Cybertron and the city of Iacon. They did that. Sentinel Prime brought no danger to Cybertron the whole movie. The danger came when Orion Pax and D-16 were fighting all throughout the city, fucking shit up and making people die for some shit that, hey, they're just trying to help y'all out. They're dying, but all y'all are worried about is you two and you guys and the power and the matrix of leadership and all that type of shit. All the danger came when you guys came back. Sentinel Prime had followers. These people that were his security team, they were his worship. They loved him. They worshiped Sentinel and they protected him with their lives, unlike the people Sentinel was protecting with his life. The people of Cybertron and Iacon, most of them turned on him when they seen him bowing to the Quintessons. Most of them turned on him, but how could they do that when this whole time he's been protecting you from them and keeping you alive and keeping you living a good, happy life? His followers never ever turned their back on him. They were with him. They were with him bowing to the Quintessons. So how does it make sense? So who are you guys? You're just cogless bots. You're just cogless bots. You ungrateful. Maybe Sentinel Prime got what he deserved. Karma always comes back around. But I'm gonna tell you this. Cybertron was left in worse shape than when it first started. When the movie first started, Cybertron looked like a heavenly and peaceful utopia. At the end, they were going to literal war. If you watch the end credit, if you watch the end speech scene, you could see Optimus Prime jump up in the air, come down, and his axe actually digs into the planet and rocks fly up. The planet of Cybertron, the planet that you're protecting. You just chopped into it and just nonchalantly, maybe intentionally. You don't know. You don't know where you swinging that big ass thing. You just swinging that axe, fucking you just cut Cybertron. You just cut Primus. You just cut Primus. But you're sending threats to the Quintessons, telling them don't come back to hurt us. No, just leave me here and let me just have all the power here and just let me hurt people here if I want to hurt them, but if I don't want to hurt them. But y'all can't come hurt people. Y'all can't come hurt people. Just me. I could make people die for me, but y'all can't come kill people. But I don't know. I could be wrong. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. If you like this video, leave a like. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And if you ask me why I'm doing this, I'm just gonna tell you.
For all the power of Cybertron.